She didn't expect New Year's Eve to feel this damn lonely. Maya stood in the middle of the packed rooftop restaurant lobby, her heels planted on the marble floor like she was bracing for impact. Music thumped from the party upstairs, people laughing, glasses clinking, couples wrapped around each other like the world only existed for them. And there she was. Billionaire CEO, girl boss headline material, every magazine calling her untouchable, yet somehow she couldn't even get a table. Yeah, irony, real funny. The hostess didn't even look nervous saying it, didn't care who Maya was. Just gave a tiny shrug like, nope, sorry lady, sucks to be you. Fully booked, no walk-ins. Not even for one? Maya asked, trying to keep her voice steady. She felt that tight thing build in her chest, the one she hated, the one that made her feel human when she really didn't want to be. The hostess smiled like she was pretending to care. Not even for one. One. That word hit harder than it should have. All around her, people weren't one. They were two or three, or families taking selfies in sparkly outfits. Everyone had somebody to start the year with. Everybody but her. Damn, that stung. She had money, power, a skyline apartment with walls of glass and a view people would kill for. She had a driver waiting outside in a jet black SUV. She could buy whatever table she wanted. Hell, she could buy the whole freaking restaurant if she felt petty enough. But tonight, she didn't want to do that. She just wanted to sit down somewhere and not feel like her life was this weird polished cage. New Year's Eve had always been loud for other people. For her, it was quiet, too quiet. She turned slightly, ready to leave, pretending it didn't bother her. And that's when it happened. Someone stood up. A guy. Not some suit or corporate shark. He looked normal. Flannel shirt, messy hair like he'd been running after life all day and barely caught up. He was sitting at a small two-seater table tucked near the corner, and across from him was a little girl, maybe 6 or 7, swinging her legs and hugging a stuffed rabbit. The guy raised his hand and waved at her. Maya froze. Instinct kicked in. Nope, that can't be for me. But the dude kept waving like, yeah, he definitely meant it. The hell? He pointed to the empty chair at his table, then mouthed, you can sit here. For a second, she just stood there, totally thrown off. Nobody ever invited her anywhere. People usually waited for her to choose them, not the other way around. The little girl nudged him and whispered something, and he chuckled like, yeah, they'd already agreed on this rescue mission. The music got louder upstairs. People laughed harder. Someone popped a bottle and champagne mist sprayed into the hallway. But everything around Maya kind of faded out. She wasn't used to strangers being kind, not without wanting something. Her mind tried to calculate it. Reputation, money, networking, hidden motive. But the dude's face didn't match any of that. He looked tired, sure, but honest, warm, like someone who'd learned how to survive life without complaining too much. And somehow, that hit deeper than anything money could buy. The hostess moved on to the next group. The world carried on celebrating, and Maya just stood there for one breath longer, realizing this moment felt way bigger than just a chair at a table. It felt like a crack in the glass wall she'd built around herself. And damn, she wasn't sure whether to run or sit down. Before we continue the story, let me know in the comments how you liked it and where you're watching from. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to subscribe and share a real incident from your own life that relates to this story. The comment with the most likes will be turned into the next story. Maya didn't move at first. Her brain was still trying to catch up with what was happening. New Year's Eve, no table. Random guy waving her over like they were old friends in some indie movie. Yeah, this was definitely not how billionaire nights usually went. But the dude didn't drop his hand. He just kept it there. Steady, patient, like, hey, it's okay, you're not intruding. And the little girl smiled at her. That kinda did it. Maya took a slow breath, muttered a soft screw it under her breath, and walked toward the table. Her heels clicked against the floor, and she felt weirdly nervous, like she was about to crash a stranger's birthday party. The guy stood up as she reached them. Nobody stood up for her anymore. People bowed metaphorically, yeah, but not like this. This was old school polite. "Hey," he said, voice warm, a little awkward but genuine. "You look like you needed a seat." Maya let out a breath she didn't know she'd been holding. "Yeah, guess I do." Up close he didn't look polished or perfect. He had tired eyes, a little rough stubble, like he'd shaved 2 days ago, and life didn't give him time to care since. There was something grounded about him, real, the opposite of everything she lived in. He pulled out the chair for her, and she sat. The little girl grinned at Maya like she'd just invited a superhero to lunch. "I'm Lily," the girl said proudly, hugging her stuffed rabbit like it was security clearance. "This is Mr. Buttons." Maya smiled, a real one, not a boardroom one. "Hi, Lily. Hi, Mr. Buttons." The guy sat back down. "I'm Aaron," he said, "and, just for the record, this is totally her idea." "She said you looked sad," Lily gasped. "I didn't say sad, I said lonely. Damn, right between the ribs." Maya swallowed. "You're not wrong." Aaron's expression softened, but he didn't pry. He didn't ask why, didn't tilt his head like a therapist or a reporter. He just nodded like, yeah. Being lonely was a normal human condition and not some dramatic confession. The server passed by and glanced at Maya like she was supposed to explain herself. Aaron spoke first. "She's with us. No hesitation, no status check, just she belongs here now." The server nodded and walked away. Maya felt something shift in her chest. Not romantic, not dramatic, just lighter. "Thank you," she said quietly. "I didn't want to spend New Year's in the lobby looking pathetic." Aaron shrugged. "You don't look pathetic, you just look like someone who's had a long year." "Yeah, that was one hell of a way to say it." Lily leaned forward, weirdly serious for a kid. "Daddy says sometimes life hits like a truck and you just gotta sit and breathe." Maya raised her brows. "Your dad sounds kinda wise." Aaron laughed. "Nah, just tired." They shared a small smile. The music upstairs rumbled through the ceiling. Someone shouted a countdown even though it wasn't midnight yet. People were buzzing with energy everywhere. And Maya? She didn't feel invisible anymore. For the first time in a long time, she wasn't CEO Maya Khan, billionaire ice queen, global powerhouse. She was just a woman sitting at a table with a single dad and his kid on New Year's Eve. And somehow, yeah, it felt right. Aaron cleared his throat lightly. "So, do we ask the obvious question or pretend we're all normal strangers who totally meant to have dinner together?" Maya smirked. "What's the obvious question?" He gestured gently. "What's someone like you doing here alone tonight?" She hesitated. The truth was heavy, raw, and saying it out loud meant admitting something she'd been dodging for years. Her fingers tightened slightly around the edge of the table, and for the first time, she thought maybe she might tell someone who didn't know her, someone who didn't expect anything, someone who didn't see dollar signs when they looked at her. Just a guy with a kid and a kind face. Yeah. Maybe this was exactly where she was supposed to be tonight. Maya stared at the table for a second before answering, like the wood grain suddenly became the most interesting thing in the world. She wasn't scared of boardrooms or billion-dollar negotiations. But this? Yeah, this felt way harder. "I didn't want to be home," she finally said, her voice low. "That's pretty much it." Aaron didn't push, didn't lean in like he was fishing for gossip. He just nodded like, yeah, that made sense. Lily, meanwhile, was busy tearing apart a bread roll like it was a life mission. "We didn't want to be home either," she announced proudly. "Daddy burns food. Like, always." Aaron groaned. "Okay, that's aggressive slander." "It's facts," Lily said, completely serious. Maya chuckled. And damn, it came out natural, not forced. That almost surprised her more than anything. "Cooking's not my thing either," Maya admitted. "My stove's basically a decoration." Aaron smirked. "Figures." She raised an eyebrow. "Figures?" He shrugged. "You have that vibe." "What vibe?" The I can buy the kitchen but don't know how to use it vibe. Maya laughed, like really laughed, and it caught her off guard. She wasn't used to people teasing her. Most folks tiptoed around her like she was made of glass and lawsuits. This guy? Yeah, no, zero fear. And somehow, she liked that. The server came back, took Maya's order without batting an eye this time, then disappeared into the noise again. For a moment, the world felt calm around their tiny corner table, like the chaos everywhere else didn't apply here. Aaron rested his elbows on the table. So, not home, huh? Maya took a breath. Yeah. I guess it just doesn't feel like a place you go to celebrate anything. Too quiet? He asked. She nodded. Too empty. He didn't ask why. Didn't go. No boyfriend? No friends? None of that stupid curiosity people usually had when they tried to dissect her life. Instead, he said softly, "Yeah, I get that." And something about the way he said it made her believe him. Lily suddenly leaned forward like a tiny detective. "Did someone make you sad?" Maya blinked. Kinda." Lily thought about that for a second, then nodded like she had the answer to life. "Daddy says sad feelings mean your heart's tired." Aaron sighed. "I really gotta stop saying stuff out loud." Maya smiled faintly. "No, she's right." For a moment, none of them spoke. The music from upstairs pulsed through the walls. Someone shouted something drunk and stupid near the bar. Laughter echoed everywhere. But at their table, the silence felt safe. Aaron traced his finger along the edge of his glass. "My wife used to say New Year's makes lonely feel louder." Maya looked up. Wife, okay. That landed differently than she expected. "Oh," she said quietly. "I didn't mean to intrude on." He shook his head. "No, you're not intruding." He paused. "She passed away 2 years ago." The words dropped like a weight between them. Lily went quiet. Maya's chest tightened. I'm sorry." Aaron gave a tired half smile. "Yeah, me too. No dramatics, no tragic speech, just truth, sitting heavy in the air." Lily hugged Mr. Buttons tighter. Maya watched Aaron for a second. The small lines under his eyes, the way his shoulders carried something he never asked for, and weirdly, it felt like she wasn't the only one running from an empty place tonight. "Is that why you came here?" she asked softly. Aaron nodded. "Didn't want to ring in the year in a house that feels quieter than it should." That hit hard. They were both escaping different kinds of silence. Different, but kind of the same. Maya exhaled slowly. "Yeah, I know that feeling." Their eyes met for a brief moment, not romantic, not cinematic. Just two people recognizing the same bruise on each other's lives. Lily suddenly brightened again. Like kids do, emotion switching tracks without warning. "We decided this year we're not gonna be sad," she declared. Aaron smiled gently. "We're trying," Maya nodded. "Yeah, me too." For the first time that night, she didn't feel out of place. She didn't feel like the odd one out. She felt human. And damn, it had been a long time since she'd felt that. The food came out a few minutes later. Steaming plates, clinking cutlery, that cozy restaurant sound that made everything feel a little less heavy. Lily immediately went to war with a mountain of mashed potatoes, totally locked into kid mode again. And yeah, that kinda helped the mood. Maya just watched them for a moment. A single dad and his kid, laughing, surviving, figuring life out while still somehow staying warm inside. It wasn't fancy, it wasn't polished, but damn, it looked real. Something she didn't even realize she'd been missing. Aaron glanced at her plate. "You gonna eat, or just stare at life like it's a documentary?" She smirked. "Relax. I eat. Just checking," he said. "You got that corporate fasting vibe." Lily giggled. "Daddy says rich people forget to eat 'cause they're busy stressing." Maya snorted softly. "Your dad says a lot of stuff." Aaron shrugged. "Most of it's accidental wisdom." She finally picked up her fork. The first bite hit her harder than expected. Warm, comforting. Nothing like the stupid gourmet meals her chef prepared that looked like art but tasted like air. This tasted like someone actually wanted you to feel okay after eating. Weird that food could feel emotional. Lily suddenly leaned toward Maya again. Do you have kids? The fork froze halfway to her mouth. There it was. The one question people always ask wealthy women like it was some status checkbox. Her jaw tightened for a second. No, Maya said quietly. I don't. Lily nodded like she was collecting information for a secret mission. Do you want some fries? Aaron almost choked laughing. Maya blinked, then burst out laughing too. Yeah, sure. Lily carefully slid 2 fries onto Maya's plate like she was making a serious donation. Now, you're not alone. Something in Maya's throat tightened. That slow burn feeling you get when you're trying not to show that something hit way deeper than it should have. Thank you, she said softly. Aaron watched her quietly, not curious, not pitying, just noticing. After a moment, he spoke. So what do you do, or are you like mysterious woman with no backstory? Maya hesitated. She could say it. She could say the title. The company, the empire, drop the billionaire card the way people expected. Instead, she shrugged. I run a business. He nodded like that was enough. Cool. Just cool. No, which one? No, my God, are you that Maya? No fake admiration, no gold-digging awe, just acceptance. It honestly felt unreal. Nobody ever treated her like that. Nobody treated her like just a person. She took another bite, slower this time. You didn't ask what kind, she said. Aaron shrugged. If you wanted me to know, you'd tell me. That line, damn. That line felt like something she'd remember later. Lily kicked her legs under the chair, humming some silly tune. Aaron reached out and fixed a loose curl behind her ear without even realizing he was doing it. That simple gesture hit hard. He was gentle, careful. Not a perfect dad, but a present one. And watching that made a weird ache show up in Maya's chest she really didn't want to think about. The kind that whispered, you wanted this once. A family, a life that wasn't made of glass and deadlines and empty penthouses. A life where someone saved a seat for you without asking what you were worth. She swallowed. Aaron glanced at her again, voice softer this time. Hey, you okay? Maya nodded. But yeah, it was kinda a lie. Just thinking, she said. Dangerous hobby, he replied. She smirked. Yeah, I'm aware. From somewhere upstairs, music shifted to something softer. People clinked glasses and shouted across the room. The city lights outside glowed like a million little promises. And sitting there, at that random table with a stranger and his kid, she felt something she hadn't felt in years. Not happiness, not comfort, something scarier, hope. And that kinda terrified her. Time slipped by without her noticing. Maya couldn't remember the last time she'd sat somewhere and just existed. No phone buzzing, no assistant panicking, no investors breathing down her neck. Just a table, warm food, a kid humming nonsense songs, and a single dad who somehow made silence feel comfortable instead of awkward. Yeah, weird feeling. In a good way. She glanced around the restaurant. Everyone else looked like they were performing happiness. Loud laughs, exaggerated toasts, people filming every moment like proof they were living. But at their little corner table, things felt quieter, realer. Aaron wiped Lily's mouth with a napkin as she complained dramatically. Dad, I'm not a baby. Yeah, well, you eat like a raccoon, so here we are, he said. Maya snorted. Lily pointed at her. See, she agrees. I didn't say anything. Maya replied. You laughed, Lily said confidently. That means you agree. Aaron shook his head. Kid's ruthless. Maya leaned back in her chair, feeling lighter. She's honest. Too honest, he said. She once told the grocery clerk I smell like sadness and coffee. Maya almost choked on her drink. Lily nodded proudly. He did. A beat passed. Then the little girl's eyes drifted to the giant window beside them, where the city skyline stretched out like a living thing. Neon lights, traffic streams, buildings standing tall against the night. Do you ever get scared of big cities? Lily asked suddenly. The question landed deeper than it should have. Maya didn't answer right away. Yeah, she said eventually, sometimes. Aaron raised an eyebrow. Scared? You don't seem like someone who gets scared. That's the trick, Maya said quietly. We never look like we are. He watched her for a second, really watched her, and something in his expression softened again. Not pity, just understanding. Lily swung her legs. Daddy says grown-ups pretend a lot. Lily, Aaron muttered. What? You say that all the time. He sighed. Yeah, but you don't gotta quote me like scripture. Maya smiled faintly, but the word stuck. Grown-ups pretend a lot. God. She'd been pretending for years. Pretending she was fine. Pretending success filled all the empty spaces. Pretending she didn't care that love had always slipped through her fingers while ambition stayed glued there. Aaron cleared his throat lightly. You know, you're different than I expected. She blinked. Expected? Yeah, he said. When you walked in, I thought. He hesitated. Actually, doesn't matter. No, say it, she said. He rubbed the back of his neck. Thought you were one of those people who thinks the world owes them space. She didn't get offended. Honestly, fair assumption. And now? She asked. He met her eyes. Now I think you're just tired, he said softly. That one landed like a punch straight to the chest. Tired, not cold, not distant, not intimidating, just tired. Yeah, that was it. Maya looked down at her hands. He saw through the armor way too easily, and weirdly, she didn't hate it. Lily suddenly perked up. Daddy, can we stay till midnight? Aaron smiled gently. We'll try, but if you start turning into a pumpkin, we're heading home. She groaned. I'm not a pumpkin. Yet, he teased. Maya watched them. That ache returning again. Not painful, just honest. A reminder of the life she'd traded for skyscrapers and silence. A life that looked messy and loud and imperfect. But alive. Something shifted in the air then. Small, subtle. Aaron looked at Maya for a moment too long. Like he was thinking something he didn't want to say out loud. Maya felt it too. Not romance, not sparks. Just connection. Raw. Unfiltered. The kind that creeps up quietly when two broken people accidentally sit at the same table. And yeah, that scared her more than anything. Midnight was getting closer. You could feel it in the room. That slow build-up, that buzzing energy everyone shared without talking about it. People were already clinking glasses early. Waiters were rushing between tables. And the music had shifted into that hopeful, nostalgic kind of rhythm that made people rethink their whole damn lives. Maya hated that feeling. It always reminded her she didn't have anyone to lean into when the countdown hit. But tonight, she wasn't totally alone, and that messed with her head more than she wanted to admit. Aaron stretched slightly in his chair, rolling his shoulders like someone who carried too much weight around every day. Lily rested her head on Mr. Buttons for a second, then perked back up like her battery magically recharged. Daddy, she whispered, do you think Mommy can see fireworks from the sky? Aaron paused, just for a second. His jaw tightened, but he didn't flinch away from the question. Yeah, he said softly. I think she gets the best view. Lily smiled at that. Small, trusting, and Maya felt something twist in her chest. Loss, grief, love that didn't go away. It just changed shape. Aaron caught Maya watching and gave a tiny shrug, like sorry about the emotional ambush. She shook her head gently. No apology needed. If anything, she respected how honest their world was. No pretending here, no filter, no ego, just real life, raw and kinda messy. Maya looked down at her glass, then spoke before she could overthink it. I was engaged once. Aaron's eyes lifted. He didn't react big, didn't lean forward dramatically. He just listened. Lily was too busy playing with a napkin to notice, which somehow made it easier. Maya stared at the table again. He didn't like this version of me. The one who worked too much. The one who wasn't home enough. The one who didn't want to slow down. Aaron nodded slowly. So he left. She let out a small breath. No, I did. That confession tasted bitter, real bitter. I thought choosing work made me strong, she said quietly. Turns out it just made me alone. Aaron didn't rush in with some inspirational Hallmark response. He just sat there with the truth. Sometimes, he said after a moment, we only realize what matters when it's already gone. Yeah, that one stung. Because it was too damn accurate. Maya looked at Lily again. The way she clung to her stuffed rabbit. The way she leaned against her dad like he was home. There was love there. Messy, heavy, unfiltered, but real. And Maya suddenly hated how empty her life felt in comparison. Aaron adjusted Lily's tiny jacket over her shoulders, totally unaware of how that simple act cracked something inside Maya. She swallowed. "You're a good dad," she said quietly. He huffed a soft laugh. "I'm trying." "No," she replied. "You're doing it." He blinked, almost surprised anyone noticed, or cared. For a moment there was silence again, not awkward, just full. The kind you only get when people stop pretending. A voice from somewhere shouted, "10 minutes!" The room erupted a little. Laughter, cheers, people lining up their champagne glasses like weapons of celebration. Lily gasped, "It's almost time." Aaron smiled tiredly. "Yeah, kiddo, almost." Maya felt something tighten in her chest again. Panic, maybe, because every New Year before this one had ended the same. Midnight, silence, cold apartment, fake smile, and then another year of pretending everything was fine. But tonight, there was a table, warm light, a single dad, a kid with a stuffed rabbit, and a seat she never expected to have. Suddenly, she wasn't sure how the hell she was supposed to go back to the life she had before walking into this place, because for the first time, in forever, she didn't want to. 5 minutes to midnight. The whole restaurant was buzzing now, people standing, servers squeezing through the crowd, champagne flutes showing up at every table, like the universe was preparing everyone for some emotional reset button. Maya felt it creeping in, that tightness in her chest she always got right before the countdown. Normally, this was the moment she'd fake a smile, do the whole classy lonely woman routine, then go home and stare at the skyline like it owed her answers. But tonight, tonight felt different, and that scared the hell out of her. Lily was practically vibrating in her seat. Daddy, can we go outside and see the fireworks later?" "If you're still awake," Aaron said, "and not secretly asleep like a possum," she gasped. "I don't sleep like a possum." "You totally do," he said, "curled up and everything." Maya laughed softly, and then something weird happened. Her phone buzzed. Just one small vibration, but it was enough to yank her back into the other world, the world of meetings and decisions and numbers and expectations. She glanced at the screen. Board member. Midnight message, of course. She turned it face down on the table. Aaron noticed. "You don't need to get that?" he asked. She shook her head. "Not tonight." He nodded, and there was this small, quiet respect in his expression, like he understood what that cost her. A server came by and set 3 champagne glasses down, one of them filled with apple juice for Lily, who cheered like she just won a trophy. "To new beginnings," Lily announced proudly. Aaron chuckled. "Kid's been watching too many movies." Maya raised her glass anyway. "To something." They clinked lightly. No big speech, no cheesy moment, just a fragile little promise none of them said out loud. Across the room, someone shouted, "1 minute." The room shifted, everyone turning toward the big digital clock behind the bar. People pulled closer together, hands linked, arms wrapped tight around the people they loved. Maya felt suddenly exposed, because this was the part she hated, the part where other people had someone, and she didn't. Her throat tightened. Old habit. Old ache. She stared at the clock, trying to steel herself before the countdown started. Then something warm brushed against her hand. She looked down. Lily's tiny fingers had wrapped around hers. No hesitation, no awkwardness, just connection. "You don't gotta be alone for the countdown," Lily said softly, like it was the most obvious thing in the world. Maya's heart damn near cracked open. Aaron watched for a second, his expression shifting, gentle, a little emotional, like that moment hit him too. He didn't say anything dramatic. He just rested his hand on top of both of theirs. 3 hands, one small, one worn, one that had forgotten what warmth felt like. The countdown started. 10. The room roared. People shouted. Champagne sloshed. Maya's chest felt like it was gonna burst. 9. Lily bounced. 8. Aaron squeezed their hands slightly. 7. Maya didn't feel lonely. Not this time. 6. Her eyes burned. Damn emotions refusing to cooperate. 5. She let herself feel it. 4. A table that wasn't hers. 3. People who didn't know her history. 2. But saw her anyway. 1. The room exploded. Cheers. Fireworks cracking across the skyline outside. Happy New Year! Lily giggled and hugged her dad tight. Aaron bent forward and wrapped his arms around her, kissing the top of her head. And then he looked at Maya, not romantically, not with expectation, just honest, present, like he was acknowledging something happened between them that didn't have a name yet. Maya breathed in, slow, shaky, realizing she wasn't watching someone else's life for once. She was in it, in the moment, alive in it, and damn, it had been a long time since she'd felt that. After the cheers died down, the room shifted into that soft after-midnight calm, the part of New Year's where people either got louder or quieter. Their table went quiet, not awkward, just full. Lily was still hugging Mr. Buttons, eyelids heavier now, her little body fighting sleep like she had something left to prove. Aaron leaned back slightly, letting out a slow breath, the kind that sounded like a release he didn't know he'd been holding. Maya didn't say anything at first. She was scared to break the moment. Because whatever this was, it didn't feel cheap or accidental anymore. It felt important. She looked out the window. Fireworks lit up the skyline. Bursts of gold and silver cracking open the night like the sky finally decided to scream with everyone else. But for once, Maya didn't feel small watching them. She didn't feel like an outsider trapped behind glass. She felt like she was here, sitting at a table she shouldn't have belonged to, but somehow did. Lily yawned, long and dramatic. Aaron smiled softly. "All right, pumpkin, you're fading." "I'm not," Lily mumbled, then yawned again. "Okay, maybe a little." Maya smiled. God, this kid. Aaron helped Lily into her small jacket and brushed her hair gently off her forehead. Every move was careful, quiet, loving in that unspoken way that didn't need to be explained. Maya watched, and yeah, that ache came back. Not jealousy, not regret, just grief for a life she never let herself try to have. Aaron glanced at Maya. "We should probably head out. Early fireworks outside are enough excitement for her." "Yeah," Maya said softly. "Of course." But something in her chest resisted. She didn't want the night to end, didn't want to walk back to that empty penthouse, to silence, to the echo of what her life had turned into. Aaron stood and slipped Lily's hand into his. She looked up at Maya sleepily. "Thank you for being our table friend," Maya swallowed. "Thank you for inviting me." Lily smiled like the world was simple and pure and made sense. "You didn't look lonely at the end anymore." "Yeah, that one hit deep." Aaron gave a small, tired smile. "She notices more than I want her to." Maya nodded. "That's a gift." He shrugged slightly. Sometimes it hurts." They walked toward the exit. Maya followed. They stepped outside into the cold night, the city buzzing, fireworks still echoing somewhere in the distance. Breath fogged in the air. Taxis rolled past. People laughed in little clusters on the sidewalk. Lily leaned into her dad's side. Maya shoved her hands into her coat pockets, suddenly unsure of what to say, or what this moment was supposed to be. Aaron turned to her. No big speech, no dramatic pause, just honesty. "Thanks for sitting with us," he said. "Tonight would have felt heavier without you." Maya felt her throat tighten. "No, thank you. I didn't know how badly I needed company until you waved." He chuckled softly. "Yeah, Sometimes the universe does weird stuff like that. They stood there for a second, like the world had paused, just long enough for them to realize something changed. Not fate, not romance, just direction. A tiny shift. A small beginning. Aaron adjusted Lily's jacket again, then looked at Maya one more time. Gentle, steady. "You'll be okay," he said quietly. "Even if you don't feel like it yet." Maya nodded. Slow, real. "So will you," she replied. For the first time, she believed it. He gave a small, tired smile. Then he turned, guiding Lily down the sidewalk, the two of them disappearing into the city like a story she accidentally stepped into for one night. Maya stood there for a moment, breathing, feeling, existing. The cold bit at her face, but she didn't feel empty. Not tonight. She finally looked up at the sky, fireworks fading into smoke, and whispered to herself, "Happy New Year." And for once, it actually meant something.